Some words were used to harm you. Some names were twisted until they collapsed your breath. Some voices spoke in God's name, but only delivered fear. If you flinch when someone says God, if you hesitate when your mouth tries to pray, if your heart wants to return, but your body still says no, this is for you. This is not just a teaching. This is a sanctuary. This is a homecoming. You do not go to church to die. You don't go to Jesus to disappear. He never required that of you. They did, but he didn't. This is the place where the performance ends, where breath becomes the teacher, where silence isn't a punishment, it's a beginning. You don't have to name everything to belong here. Sometimes the language comes after the breath. Sometimes healing begins before the words do. There was a time when survival required new language. You named what was harming you. You mapped the cage. You learned to see with holy defiance. That was the captivity lens. It told the truth when no one else would. It saved your life. But now, you're not surviving anymore. You are living. And the language of survival, the vocabulary of collapse and captivity, cannot carry you forward. Even if you've never mapped your captivity, even if you're not sure what happened or why it still lives in your body, you are not behind. This is for you too. That's why the Resurrection Lexicon was born, not as a dictionary, not as a reframe, not as a spiritual self-help archive, but as a living body of witness, a holy reclaiming of words, words that let you breathe again, words that let you live. There are phrases in here I could never say while I was still bound, not because I didn't believe them, but because my nervous system couldn't hold them. It took time. It took the slow work of safety. It took Jesus breathing breath back into my lungs 7 times, then 7 more. And when I tell you that he sealed me, I do not mean bound. I do not mean tethered. I mean he closed the wound the predator opened. I mean he held the orphan. He healed the widow and restored the sentinel. I mean I no longer confuse the predator's voice with God's. This is the miracle. This lexicon is not a list of terms. It's a map of what it feels like when resurrection happens in your own body. Not in theory, not in theology, but in your ribs, in your cells, in your breath. If the captivity collapsed your nervous system, this is the slow restoration of language rising from your healed lungs. You may feel echoes of certain words still: trigger, tether, safe place, spiritual. If they carry static, that's not your fault. You were groomed to obey harm and call it love. You were taught to mistrust your body, your no, your knowing. You were given theology instead of presence, rules instead of rest, fear instead of the Father. But real Jesus, he was never the one who harmed you. And he knows how to separate himself from the ones who did. When he makes his name safe again, you'll feel it. You'll say God, and your throat won't close. You'll whisper Jesus, and your body will lean in, not away. This is not performance. This is resonance. Your body knows the difference. This lexicon is not the beginning of resurrection. It's the moment you realize you've already been breathing resurrection for a while. You just didn't know what to call it, and now you do. You've come home. Part 2. There is a moment in every resurrection when you feel your own voice return, not just for volume, but your essence. And with it comes language, but not the same language you used to survive. This is different. This is language that doesn't describe what happened to you. It witnesses what is now alive in you. So we begin to reclaim with breath, not with force, not with performative declarations, not with urgency, just breath. Let's begin here. Trigger once meant danger, a signal, a collapse, something to fear or avoid. But here we call it a flicker, a body memory, not a regression, not a failure, just a flicker that reminds you your body remembers and your breath is here now. You are not in the cage. Collapse is no longer your companion. The scaffolding has been rebuilt. The rupture has been sealed. There may still be echoes, but they do not undo you. You don't drop through the floor anymore because Jesus rebuilt the floor. And now, when your body remembers what it survived, it also remembers who saved you. That is the miracle. That is resurrection. Safe place doesn't need to be visualized anymore because your body is becoming one. Your chest, your breath, your voice. This is vertical safety. Not circumstantial, not controlled, but indwelt. A miracle living inside your lungs. Tethered once meant stuck, held by spiritual threat, but in resurrection, Jesus untethers completely. He severs what you could not, and where that tether once fed corrosion, now you are sealed, not imprisoned, preserved. Sealed is no longer a captivity word. It is resurrection. It means the wound is closed. The predator cannot enter again. Only Jesus has access to your essence now. Sealed means you are claimed but not consumed. You are his, and he does not devour. He breathes. You once had to stand guard at every threat. You lived terrorized inside your own body. Now, Jesus is your shield, and you rest with peace. You no longer need to be alert. Hypervigilance is gone. Some of these words were used against you, twisted, weaponized, turned into tools of fear, control, or submission. But when Jesus breathes through them, they rise again, clean, holy, true. This is the restoration of vertical truth. so you no longer confuse the predator's voice with God's. This lexicon lives in your ribs now, not on a page. You don't have to memorize it. Just feel what feels true. Let your body guide you. Let your breath say yes or no. Speak slowly. Try a word. Pause. Sense. Let it rise from the spirit, not the script. These are not words you perform. These are words that hold you. May you feel it when his name is safe again. May you breathe without collapse. May your worship return, not in performance, but in presence. May your voice find its rhythm. May your soul come home. You don't have to go back to captivity to prove you're healed. You don't have to explain what God is doing in your life. This is your sanctuary. This is your homecoming. This is your resurrection. If you are still learning to breathe when you hear God's name, if worship feels foreign, if holy words carry static instead of peace, you are not behind. The fact that you're still here, still listening, is a miracle, a quiet resurrection in real time. May every word that was used to harm you fall off your body like ash. May the breath of real Jesus fill the space where fear used to live. May your nervous system feel the difference between control and communion. May you speak again, not because you have to, but because you are free. You do not have to strive for this. You are not required to rush. Healing has no script. Resurrection has no clock. Jesus is not in a hurry. He knows what they did, and he will never demand what was stolen. He is your rest. He is your witness. He is the one who breathes with you until the words come back safe again. So if all you can do today is breathe, that is enough. If all you can say is his name, that is holy. If all you can feel is the quiet, that is presence. This lexicon lives in your breath now, not to be recited, but received. You are sealed in love. You are claimed without collapse. You are home.